How's it, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Grid. I am Bangahz, and like usual, I am with the other two Bangahs, Jacob and Bryson. Say hello.
Was it?
How's it?
And you've been following along. You know it was a rough weekend for all three of us. Not the weekend you want to see us go 0 for 3. Didn't happen too much this season, I felt like, but yeah, worst time for it to happen. So before we dive into the divisional games, and just talk about our team a little bit going forward, how we felt about the game, what we might be hopeful for kind of our team going forward next year in the future, and just who you were rooting for now since we're no longer home team favorites, cheering for our team. So yeah, I'll throw it over to you first, Jake, since you kind of knew this was going to happen, prepared.
Yeah, I was prepared, and yet I was still pissed that it even happened, the way it happened. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. Season is done for the Eagles, which kind of glad because, yeah, it was frustrating down the stretch already. But at this point, I'm cheering for the Lions, really rooting for them to get their first championship. Uh, Outside of them, AFC side, I'm rooting for Texans, if not the Ravens. And, yeah, pretty much. And just rooting, for Niners' demise.
Nice, nice. Bryson,
I
you
can
wanna?
understand that. Yeah, no, I mean, my game was definitely a lot closer than Jake's was, so I was definitely, it probably stung a little more in the sense of at least, my team put up a little more of a fight. Definitely a game I thought we should have won. Penalties I think were missed at the end there that would have, helped our drive to probably put us up playing with probably a 2 point lead if we hit a field goal at the minimum. But at the end of the day, it's the one team that I'm kind of comfortable with losing to, the Lions. So I'd rather lose now than just lose later to the Niners if we ended up beating everybody else, because I'm sure we'd probably lose to the Niners. Um, but I think the future's bright for the team. Sounding like Stafford's going to be back, Big Vay's going to be back. Not sure about Aaron Donald. Still kind of waiting to hear on that end. It sounds like he's probably, you know, could be back. I know there was like 2 years ago it was whether or not basically everyone was gonna come back with him. So hopefully he stays. And I know the future's bright. We got some young rookies this year that really stepped up. All pro teams, um, Pro Bowl guys, Kyron, Puka, guys on the defense, Kobe Turner. And I think we just need to, do what we do in the draft, find those sleeper picks and those fifth round studs that kind of go on, slip through the draft, and McVay and Les Snead just know how to find them. So I like where my team's at right now.
Who are you rooting for? NFC,
I'll
AFC.
be
Yeah.
if I had to pick NFC, it's not going to be the Lions. I'd probably say the Packers, but um, overall, I'm rooting for the Texans though. But yeah, if I had to
Makes
pick
sense.
NFC, it'd be Packers. But for the whole thing, I wanted to say the Texans.
That would be
Financial reasons, I have to say
wild.
the Chiefs. Because
Oh, man.
I got money riding on the Chiefs, but
Or was a safe bet?
so for financial, strictly financial, I hate having to bet on the Chiefs, but yeah,
Yeah, I think the Chiefs can win one more Super Bowl before I stop cheering for them altogether. And they get into that like Tom Brady
yeah,
range
yeah.
where no matter who
Then
they
it
go
starts getting
against.
annoying.
Yeah,
I will
and
say I keep seeing memes about like the NFL wants to see Travis and
Jason?
Swift Taylor
No? Oh, okay.
Taylor Swift kissing, hugging, kissing under the confetti.
Well, they dated a little bit too late for that.
Like the NFL is gonna like favor them to get them to win, to get them to the Super Bowl, to be to have a kiss on national TV under the lights and the confetti. So
the NFL just wants Taylor Swift on their
yeah, they
camera at
just
all
want Taylor
times,
Swift.
so
Yeah, so
wouldn't be surprised.
don't
And
be
side note for
surprised,
your
guys,
game,
if Chiefs get some favorable calls.
nothing new. But side note for your game, I kind of blame you guys. I don't know why you guys have Maher. Isn't he the reason he missed the PAT, right?
In the game,
I think he missed something.
I don't think so.
Was he
I
perfect?
don't know if he did, but it's the man that missed 6 straight PATs in
I
last
mean,
year's
yeah,
playoff.
I know
Field goals, PATs, whatever
earlier
it
in the
was.
year he was missing a lot and caused some games we might have been able to win. So we let him go, and then I think we picked up he was a rookie on some practice squad. I can't remember who's practice squad, but yeah, we picked him up, and he wasn't horrible, but he was a rookie, and we were gonna get Crosby. Had Crosby for like half of a week, and then we released him again, and then he ends up on. I forgot who he ended up with that we played against him, and he was kicking against us, and he missed a field goal. It was funny.
Can't think of who it was.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was.
I can't. Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, and then we picked him back up, and I don't know. We need to look to get a kicker. I
Every
wish we
time I
kept
see
Matt
him.
Gay because
Ooh, Maggie was nice.
yeah,
He
I
was
wish we
nice.
kept Gay.
Every time I saw Maher, I'm like, how do you still have a job?
Yeah.
On the biggest stage of your career, you just missed everything.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a shock to me. Yeah, move on to my game. Definitely a painful loss. I know I was pretty optimistic when we recorded, I think on Wednesday or something, and every day we got closer to the game, I had more hope my team was going to win the Super Bowl. So definitely hurt a little bit, but I'm not mad. I think my team played good. We came out slow, kind of like this the whole season. And I mean, I said what Josh Allen does. He ran up the score. It was 21-0. Didn't protect the ball. I thought Mason looked really good. I don't blame him too much on the interception. It was a game-changing interception. We needed that touchdown, but when you have Deontay on a cornerback that's been struggling all game, you got to take the chance, and cornerback won it. So unfortunate, but I think he played good. Definitely gonna be an interesting offseason. Not like your two fan bases. I'm not used to having a QB competition or figuring out who the guy is. So this is new to me, but we'll talk more about who I might be rooting for moving forward. But I like what we have. Mike Tomlin's coming back. Wasn't too scared about that, but yeah, I'm excited for next year. Talent gets better and defense is healthy, and hopefully we have TJ Watt because he would have changed that game in my opinion. But yeah, tough week. But I kind of with Bryson. If any team I wanted to lose to would have been the Bills. Kind of been cheering for them the last few years ever since my team gets out. Gonna be cheering for them again. Just like you want the Lions to win, I want the Bills to win because they don't have a championship either, and I think Josh Allen deserves it more than anyone in this league, in my opinion. So I'm gonna go for him. And then on the NFC side, I'm going for the Lions. I mean, the two underdogs. I'm not the biggest 49er fan because they can't get to 6, and yeah, I just don't believe in really any other teams in the conference. Uh, so that kind of wraps up our teams, our weekend games. We can talk about the other ones that didn't contain our teams. So I think we have the Packers and the Cowboys. So I'll throw this one to Bryson because I know Bryson had something he wanted to say about this.
I mean, it wasn't so much about the Cowboys, more so the Packers. Or I'm sorry, more so Dak Prescott. But yeah, I mean, going into the game, I think most people, if you were, you know, a betting man, you would be betting on the Cowboys, right? You know, because you can't, looking at that team, you just couldn't realistically say that they were going to lose. But the fact they lost doesn't surprise me. It's just like typical clockwork. And, I didn't even watch the game. I like checked the score and I was like, holy cow, they're getting clapped right now, clobbered, and this game's over. And I was like, oh, that sounds exactly about right. Exactly what the Cowboys would do. But what can you say? Jordan Love, kid's a stud. Kind of was a little questionable during the season, but then kind of had a late run and just started rolling and got themselves into the playoffs. And they beat the 2 seed and embarrassed them and just proved that the Cowboys are once again pretenders. And until they can show us otherwise, they'll be that for forever. Um, the thing I have to say about Dak Prescott is he really that good of a quarterback as a lot of people make him out to be? because I mean, if you look back at the season, the only games he really like did well were against crap teams, like below 500
Yeah.
teams. And you look at the matchups he had against good defenses, top 500 teams, he was horrible. So, like, I don't get why a lot of people were so high on Dak Prescott, and like a lot of analysts out there are like Dak Prescott, this, that, and just time and time again, he just proves that he can't win a playoff game. And I remember looking at the stats, I was like, 2 interceptions in the first half, and I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds exactly like Dak Prescott. So, hot take here, Trey Lance.
I do it.
Trey Lance era in Dallas.
I don't feel like it's a hot
Let's
take.
see.
I feel like there's a lot
It
of people
honestly
saying
isn't
that.
that hot of a
I'm,
take right now, but look, if you look at the statistical history of Dak Prescott, it's against shitty teams, below 500 teams. I don't know why we give him so much credit when he only blows out crap teams, with also the help of his defense scoring a lot of touchdowns as well. And then against good actual top 500 teams, he just doesn't show up and he can't win games.
Yeah, he gets knocked out in the playoffs. If you beat what the last year's Bucks with Brady already, he was done. I mean, not saying cook, but just you can tell that he was just done already.
Struggling O-line too.
Yeah, that Bucks team was not the same. So that was his one win with against the Falcons. I think the year after they lost or something. Yeah.
Yeah. You got anything to add to this game? Other
I'll,
than that,
I'll,
you're
I'll
happy.
say this: the game was great. I'm not just saying that. Just seeing Jordan Love play. Honestly, it was great. Like him and CJ Stroud. Actually, they had almost identical stats, but just in general, he played a bit phenomenal. Like just a great playoff debut.
Yeah, can't take anything away from Jordan Love. He did have a great game. I still have questions about him because, I mean, we kind of talked about when we did the predictions. We all had the Cowboys, but we weren't really confident because we knew it could get weird with just the Cowboys being the Cowboys, and that's what happened. I think the biggest surprise to me was it was just a blowout. I did not expect the Packs to be able to do that. I thought they had a chance to win, just not a blowout. But we get to see what they do going forward. Still a young team for them, so definitely curious on what they'll do and how they'll move forward. And yeah, for the Cowboys, rough. I mean, you're keeping your head coach, which I don't think was the right move. A lot of good coaching candidates this season or this offseason, so it didn't make sense to me. And you have the team. The talent is there for that team. I think they are Super Bowl contenders talent wise. I mean, Dak has not been great this year, in my opinion, but Dak is one of those players, in my opinion. If he gets hot, he can be a top 10 quarterback. He just does not get hot that often, in my opinion. I mean, he had that one year where that offense was going crazy. So he can be a quarterback. I don't know about the Trey Lance. I mean, you're a Super Bowl contender. You have Micah Parsons for another year or two on a rookie contract, and you know when he gets his contract, that is going to be the biggest defensive player contract. So I don't know if you can do that. You can't waste Michael Parsons years. You just can't when you have a talent like that. And I did want to throw this out to you guys because I saw this online, and I'm a fan of the guy, so I kind of was very curious. I saw someone post that if Tony Romo had the same offense and defense, would Tony Romo have won a Super Bowl?
No, because he's just like Dak. They both couldn't get over the hump.
I don't know.
No, they're the same.
I don't know. I can't. That's a tough one.
Teams in the NFC were a lot harder, but I think he would have had a chance. I like Romo. Romo was a great quarterback. I mean, yes, he's not the biggest gunslinger, had good amount of interceptions, but his team, I don't know. Besides Dez Bryant, I don't remember many of his weapons. I mean, Jason Witten's good, but Jason Witten's like a possession receiver, not kind of your big play guy. I don't know. You had a great run game, but that defense wasn't good. That defense was bottom of the barrel, and I don't know. Tony Romo reminds me of like a Kirk Cousins because of fantasy. They're guys who you can take in that 10th round and still put you up like QB 10 numbers. So I don't know. Thought it was interesting because Romo definitely never had this much help as Dak has
I
right
can see
now.
that, but I don't know. That's tough.
It's rough, yeah, because you still got top teams in there. You still had Aaron Rodgers with the Packers and all of those high end teams. So
Drew Brees and
yeah, Drew Brees with the Saints. Yeah,
Eli.
NFC used to be stacked.
Back when the Giants were actually good with Eli. Yeah.
They're mediocre,
Mm.
to be honest.
They had
Well,
2 good seasons with Eli.
I mean,
yeah,
you had
those years. Yeah.
teams battling for the wild cards, right? Whether it be Falcons, Panthers, right? Yeah, those other teams.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just thought it was interesting. Definitely, I like Romo. Would have liked to see him do a little bit more in the playoffs, but I'm pretty sure he's happy with his career. So, but yeah,
I think
we
it's
can
just
move
the
on.
Cowboys organization.
That is true too. That is a rough one.
It's just
It is.
Yeah, waiting to see what Jerry Jones does because that man wants to win a Super Bowl and he doesn't have much time left.
I think
So-
when Jerry Jones dies, then they'll win. They'll start winning games.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I kind of was thinking it, but I didn't want to.
I'm sorry to be that guy, to say it. But
Oh,
maybe
you know why?
he just needs to keel
makes sense.
over and they'll start winning games.
The man sold his soul for 5 Super Bowls. That's what it is. They're collecting now until he's gone.
Bet you he would say it's worth it. But yeah, that'll wrap up that game. Moving to another game, kind of another team I just saw similar to the Cowboys. Was the Dolphins versus the Chiefs. Another game I kind of wasn't too surprised about. Chiefs look good on defense. I think their defense played a lot better than I kind of thought they were. Saw them moving around coverages and just confusing Tua, and Tua just, I mean, doesn't look like that guy. I mean, I kind of been on that page this whole year. Was great making check downs, but never took that deep shot. Never got Tyreek involved really. But you're going against the Chiefs. It's the one team that knows how to guard them. And that Miami defense just looked terrible. I mean, you still have Jalen Ramsey out there, and you still had Rashee Rice go for 100-something yards. Had a monster day. So yeah, Mahomes is still Mahomes. Never gonna count them out.
Yeah, I mean, the Dolphins kind of same thing, struggle against top 500 teams. Not necessarily just, I don't want to blame it on Tua. I think just the Dolphins in general as a whole. But yeah, I think going into it, realistically, looking at just the circumstances, the situation in Arrowhead, in that weather, yeah, that's just a tough place to beat anybody, especially Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, just kind of the circumstances were really unfavorable for them. So at the same time, you can't really blame them for that, But yeah, I'll say, what's his name? Snead, cornerback, just had Tyreek's number and was just on him the whole game, locked him up. I mean, other than that one, but for most of the game, he was on him. So yeah, give credit to the Chiefs defense. This is probably the best defense they've had in a while. So, yeah, tough situation for the Dolphins, but
Last time I remember being this good was Eric Berry, but yeah, continue.
Oh,
Just want to
man.
throw him out there. Just a shout out. Him and Justin Houston were nice. Yeah.
He's in Tamba Ali, yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice defense. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I think it's just unfortunate for the Dolphins. I mean, obviously, yeah, I think the question was always, can they be contenders? Obviously, this year, that was not the case. Just down this last stretch of games, getting into the playoffs, they just dealt with lots of injuries, especially on the defense side of the ball, pass rushers, linebackers. That's not the reason why the offense didn't play good, but it's a shame that kind of happened, that they had to play with whatever they had. And I guess we'll find out what the Dolphins try to do to get over the hump next year, and whether or not they'll pay Tua. I think that's the big question. I think it's going to be his fifth year option. I'll double check that, but yeah.
think so.
So it's coming up, right? So they got a decision to make.
Yeah, because he's in that Mac Jones class.
No, he's in
No.
the Joe Burrow
he's,
class.
yeah,
Joe Burrow,
2020
Justin
Joe
Herbert.
Burrow. Herbert.
And they all just got their contracts, so yeah, he
Right.
has to be pretty much coming up. So yeah, that definitely something to monitor. And then yeah, the final game, I think this is the one game we were probably the most happy for, was the Browns and the Texans. At least I know I was. So started off with you, Jake.
Yeah, it was a good game. I didn't expect not expect this to be a blowout. Really, I thought this would be close. It was early on, going back and forth. Joe Flacco still, still has the magic, but eventually that faded out. Texas defense continues to improve week after week, so like to see where they're going. And yeah, CJ Stroud with a great debut, just like Jordan Love. So couldn't have asked for a better performance from the Texans, really.
Yeah,
And
I'm with you. I mean, CJ Stroud had a phenomenal game. Yeah, definitely didn't think it would be that's how it ended. I mean, when Joe Flacco throws 2 pick sixes, I mean, it kind of just gets out of hand. But yeah, kind of called it. I liked what Flacco was doing, but I think he was getting way too much hype for what he was doing. It wasn't that amazing. Yes, you were carrying that Browns offense kind of ish, but that defense was still the backbone of that team. And honestly, they disappeared, and that's quick plug. That's why TJ Watt for defensive MVP, because Miles Garrett's defense and Michael Parsons' defense got ripped apart this weekend, and Steelers had the best defense, and TJ Watt wasn't even out there. So, but yeah, great to see what I saw from the Texans. Definitely didn't think CJ Stroud would have that great of a game. I knew he wouldn't be what killed them, but yeah, just great performance by him, and yeah, excited to see what they keep doing moving forward. Young team, all around head coaching, offense, defense. So team to watch out just for the upcoming years, because that team's gonna probably keep together for at least the next 2-3 years at least. And yeah,
yeah, no, I mean, it was a good game in the sense of seeing the Texans being as good as they are right now. Yeah, definitely a lot of concerns coming to in the year, start of the year, Texans defense. But they turned around, figured things out, and look at them now. You know, they're embarrassing teams, back-to-back pick sixes, and they got one of the defensive rookie of the year candidates. He kind of probably fell out of it at the end of the year, but he was still up there, top five, top three for a while. And yeah, CJ Stroud couldn't ask for a better debut. Did his stuff, what he's been doing all year, and kind of basically, proved that he's got it. He can do it in the playoffs, and not just a regular season, phenomenon, and got himself a playoff win. And I think in the AFC right now, a lot of teams probably need to watch out for them. So I like the Texans right now. They look really good. Definitely, even if they get knocked out next round, still got to give them credit, and they couldn't ask for more really, especially with that organization and how it was looking for the last 2 years. Um, post Deshaun Watson, it seemed like it was going to be a rebuild for quite a while, but they found their guy and they got a lot of young guys. Nico Collins, I know Tank Dell's out, but when he comes back next year, they definitely got the talent, and future's bright for them, and it's good to see. No more, just being irrelevant every year. So, yeah, definitely good to see from them. And yeah, tough for the Browns. I mean, Flacco, it was bound to end at some point, especially when you get that hot coming in the situation that he was in. There's no way that it was just going to roll through the whole playoffs. And then yeah, their defense just kind of fell apart, or they got exposed, and that could just be Stroud is just him, but you know I don't think Miles Garrett can do it all by himself. But yeah, it's tough when you got that rookie quarterback who's offensive rookie of the year essentially, and their team's rolling, and their defense kind of led the way for the game, kind of got them all their momentum. And yeah, those pick sixes were just momentum killers, and can't really bounce back from that.
Yeah, pretty much with you. I'm definitely gonna keep an eye on the Browns. I mean, they're in one of the three teams. I think pretty much not our three. I can't say your team, Jake, for certain, but every losing team seems like you're looking at the quarterback for the issue, and this is another team with the Browns because I mean, Joe Flacco looked better than Deshaun Watson did all year and even last year. So definitely curious to see what to do because again, they're another team with a lot of talent, could be those Super Bowl contenders. Yeah, just got hit with too many injuries this year, so we'll see what they do going forward. But yeah, great to see the Texans move on. But yeah, that should wrap up on our recap of the Wildcard Weekend. Check out part two. We'll go over our divisional round predictions and just talk about the games. We see them going forward. Yeah, we'll catch you next time. Toots.
Dudes.